Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on the basics of course customization. I'm really excited that you joined us to learn a little bit more about this really powerful and really easy to use feature that is going to help you meet both your needs and the needs of your students. Just so you can put a face to a voice, I'll introduce myself. My name is Linda Newsom and I am a Learning and Development Specialist at Odysseyware. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing here today. This session is the basics of course customization. In the next hour, I am going to provide you with an overview of Odysseeware's course customization feature, and I will demonstrate the ways in which courses can easily be personalized to meet your individual or district needs. I would also like to point out that at the end of the session, I will show you a location where you can go continue your learning. For this session today, we have four main things that we are going to focus on. We are going to talk about the two different ways that courses can be customized. They are both very easy to use, but they have different purposes. So we will explore those two areas. We are also going to look in depth in how you can modify an existing Odysseyware course, how you can also create a course from scratch. Last but not least, we're also going to take a look at different content resources that you can use inside of our customization tool to really build the courses that you need to build. I think we are ready to jump on into the program. I am going to log into my Odysseyware account. You might notice that I am utilizing the Mozilla Firefox browser. That's one of our browsers of choice. We also recommend Google Chrome. Any one of those will work for Odysseyware. It will also work in Safari browser and others, but we are going to strongly recommend you utilize Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. In the navigation bar, I am going to click on Courses. This is the first place you want to go to when you are ready to customize courses. One of the objectives that we had today was to talk about the two different ways you can customize a course. So I am going to begin by giving you an overview of the two different ways you can customize a course, and then I will demonstrate how you can use each one of them. The first way is to go to the Actions column, and underneath it, next to the eyeball icon, which by the way lets you preview any Odysseyware course, is the stack of papers. This is your copy icon. You can actually take any existing Odysseyware course and make a copy of it. This is going to be perfect for you if you're looking to do some of the quote unquote basic things, but still very powerful things. So for example, if you are looking to take an Odysseyware course and rearrange the scope and sequence of your units. Let me give you a specific example. Let's say you are working in a science course and there's a project that you never do with your students, and you're finding yourself having to go into the gradebook and skip that assignment every time your students encounter it. What you can do in this case is make a copy of the course and permanently delete that assignment that you never want to use. Again, simple things, but they make a huge impact on the amount of time that you are spending. Another good example of when you can use the copy icon is to make an Odysseyware course cross-curricular. So you can take pieces of content from an algebra course and from an engineering course, for example, and hybridize them and bring real-world concrete examples of how algebra can be used. Just think how much students can benefit from these cross-curricular courses. These are just few examples of how you can customize a course by copying it and making changes. So that is the first way you can customize a course. The second way we can customize a course is by clicking the Create Course button right here. This basically lets you start a course from scratch. This means you can either add your own content to the course, or you can take the Odysseyware content and use it to make your own course. For example, if you had a kid who is really struggling in fractions and you want to figure out where their understanding is lacking, you can create a custom course using the Create Course here just for one student surrounding a skill that they are struggling with. A very powerful tool, but also very easy to use. This was an overview of the two different ways you can customize a course. Now I am going to demonstrate how you can use them. I will start with the first way that you can customize a course, which is by using the copy option. I am going to go to the course column, and I am going to use our biology course as an example of a course that I want to copy. So underneath the course column, I will type in biology. I am going to choose our national biology course. On the right-hand side, underneath the actions column, I will click copy. Now that's going to give me a pop-up box. This is where I will need to make some initial decisions. As you can see, next to the course name, I have the option to name this course whatever it is that I like. The default name is always copy of and the name of the course that I am copying. Now, depending on the school or district you are working within, they might already have some very specific protocols in place for naming convention. So if you're at a school that is already customizing, be sure to check with your administrator and see if there is a specific way you should be naming your courses. If there is, just make sure you follow that. And if there is not, I challenge you to come up with a protocol that you can suggest to the rest of your peers or to your administration. For example, maybe you're at a large district and you have different campuses across your district using this. One really easy thing you can do, for example, so that you know that this is my course from my specific school, is to put your campus number. This way, you will be able to search for your 057 biology course that will be specific for your campus. Another thing you can do to personalize and be able to identify your custom course is to put your last name in front of it. This will make it searchable so that you can just find the courses that you have created. Again, I recommend that you find a naming convention that can be spread across anybody who is customizing courses, just so there is consistency and a clear protocol in place. The other thing I highly recommend is to put the year, either that you are first customizing the course or the year down the road that you are making an update to this course. Putting the year will always let you know the last time this course was updated, which can make changes coming down the pipeline really easy to monitor. Beneath the course name is the subject. The default subject is science in this case. If your district calls this something different, feel free to change it. I am going to leave the default as it is standard, but again, follow the protocol that makes the most sense to your school. Now your next option is to decide, do I want other teachers in my school or at my district to modify my course? You're going to notice that it is marked no by default. But if you want to make this course editable by multiple people other than yourself, you can click yes, and that will open this up so that anybody that needed to can come in here and make modifications to your course. A lot of our districts will leave this set as no, and that's kind of a safety net because you know that your course that you're creating will remain exactly how you created it. In other words, you will not see sudden changes that you did not expect. The nice thing is that even if you mark no, a custom course can also be copied. So if there is another teacher at your district who likes your course but wants to make a few changes to it, they can copy it and make it their own. As a note, the three options that we just discussed, the course name, subject, and allow other teachers to edit, can be edited at a later point. The last option you see here, enable flex, this option cannot be edited. So if I click copy, whether I choose no or yes, it is set in stone. So what does flex do? It allows your course to react to any changes that you make. So what does that really mean? Let's say that in my gradebook, after I have kids already enrolled in this course, maybe I want to go in there and I have a student who is not going to complete a specific lesson for whatever reason. I can skip that lesson in the gradebook, and now my quiz and my upcoming test will remove any questions tied to that lesson. So I know my students are only going to be quizzed or tested on the content that they were given. This is a very powerful tool because of course we don't want our kids being tested on something never learned. Now this is also going to allow us to create something called flex assessments. And those are going to be quizzes and tests that are automatically generated by the OdysseyWare program. And I'm sure that in and of itself is enough to make you to want this feature turned on. Very rarely would you ever want to leave this as no. So again, I would typically recommend that you would click yes on flex because it gives you a very dynamic course that you can use with your students. Just to reiterate one more time, as soon as I click copy, whether I said yes, our recommended option, or no, that choice is set in stone and cannot be edited later. So I am happy with the choices that I made, so I am going to go ahead and click copy. And now we will get to the page where the magic happens. In the course details section, you will see the same information we just saw a second ago. The course name, subject, allow other teachers to edit. Again, this is where you can make some really important changes if you need to. So for example, if I did want to make a modification to the course name and I did decide I don't want to call it Mucin Biology, instead I do want to put my campus ID, I can click my little pencil, delete my last name, add my campus ID, and this is something that is really simple to overlook. If you edit, do click this little check mark and that will save any changes that you make. Another example, if you change your mind and you do want other teachers to modify your course, you can make that change right here. As you can see, the one thing that I cannot change is the flex feature. Now, one new thing that we have not seen yet, but is very important because this also cannot be edited later, is the decision of whether or not you want to make this course CRXable. Just a little reminder, anytime you see the CRX acronym there in the OdysseyWare program, that is our abbreviation for course prescriptive mode. So this is really asking you, do you potentially ever want to use this course in credit recovery or our course prescriptive mode? If there is even a slight chance that this course could be put in credit recovery mode or course prescriptive mode, even for one student, definitely check that box. Doing so does not automatically make this course a credit recovery course, but it gives you the option down the road to make it such. So again, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't want to check that, but it is a consideration for you to make. When I scroll down the page, you will see the Create Your Course area. This is the fun part. This is the course in its entirety. So right now, all of these gray boxes that I am viewing, these are the different units in the original OdysseyWare biology course. So let's see how easy it is to rearrange scope and sequence. So you're looking at these units and, for example, you decide to move biochemistry from the second unit right here to before the semester review and exam. Now you're going to see on my screen right now, I have my 4-prompt arrow. And as soon as you see that, that's your green light to go ahead and make some changes. So if I left click, I can now actually drag and rearrange and move this unit wherever I want it to go. You're going to see little yellow spaces open up, and that's going to show you where, if I let go right now, this course will drop. So just by left clicking and dragging, I was able to move my biochemistry, which was unit 2, down to right before my semester review and exam unit. Same thing, maybe down here, I do want animals and humans before plants. I can simply left click and drag and rearrange and put the unit just where I want it to go. As you can see, it is super easy and very simple. Now there are 2 other options right here, the trash can and the pencil. So if I wanted to retitle this unit, instead of cell energy, I want to call it cellular energy. All I have to do is click on my pencil, change the title, and click save. Another thing you can do besides editing a title, you can actually choose to delete or remove an entire unit. So for example, if you say, you know what, biochemistry is not a unit that we cover in biology with my students, you can click on the trash can. A pop-up window will appear asking if you are sure you want to delete this unit, and if you are, just click OK, and away that unit goes. So again, very, very simple changes that are going to make your life a whole lot easier. Because if you enroll students into the original biology course and biochemistry is something you never do, you then have to go in there and individually skip that unit for every single kid. It is easy, but it can be very time consuming. Now, by customizing, I can delete that unit for everybody and never have to go in there and make individual changes again. So again, it's a very, very powerful tool. Now, since I'm here and I'm viewing all of the units in my biology course, as you're going to notice to the left of my units, I have a little plus sign. So if I click on it, this is going to allow me to add additional content. I can even add my own units, or I can search, use the search feature to come in here and make this course cross-curricular. So let's say I wanted to come in here, and if I wanted to, I can put in some animal agriculture. I could. Or if I decided, you know what, after all, that biochemistry unit is kind of important, I can actually come in here and click search. And by the way, this is the same search feature that we have on the OdysseyWare Courses tab, and it works exactly the same way. Now I am under the Curriculum tab. And if I decided that I did want to add that biochemistry unit back in, all I have to do is come down here and click on my search, my magnifying glass, type in biochemistry, and there it is. Here is that unit back in its entirety. And if I do want to put this back into play, all I have to do is click on the unit. You're going to see it turns a darker blue. Come down here and add selected. It will add that selected unit right back in. And as you can see, it populated right back in place. So don't ever feel that if you make a change, you can never unmake that change. You can put things right back into play if you delete something and you want to put it back in. So that's the stuff you can do with the unit level. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that to the left of my unit title, I have a little arrow right here. If I click the arrow, it's going to expand and show me all of the content within that unit. So I can view all of the lessons, projects, the quizzes, the test that comes at the end of the unit. It gives me access to everything. I can do the same things I just did at the unit level. I can take the study of ecology. If I left click and drag, I can move that up. I can move projects around. I can move quizzes. So again, by just left clicking and dragging, I can make all of these changes. If I decide that I never want to use this symbiosis project, maybe we have a project that we work on offline that covers this topic, you're going to see that I have the same trash can right here. So all I have to do to get rid of this assignment is click on it. I'll get the pop-up window again. Are you sure you want to delete this project? If I am sure, I can click OK, and away it goes. Super simple, but very dynamic. One other thing that I want to point out, notice here I have two projects in a row, food webs and habitats. But food webs is a brighter green, whereas the habitats project is a lighter green. Now I have the option when I publish this course to actually keep both of these projects assigned to my students. The difference between these two here is that the bright green project, the food webs, will be assigned by default. The habitat project, which is a light green, is actually skipped by default. So this is a really nice feature because it allows you to keep that project in your course should you want to use it down the road, but it does not automatically assign it to your students because maybe you're going to save this for kids who are picking up this unit a little bit more quickly, or you're going to use it as an advanced project. So maybe you don't want to use it for everybody, but you don't want to get rid of it either. You can just skip it by default. Now, if you know for a fact that you do want every single student in your class to do this project, all you have to do is uncheck and it goes into play. So now both projects are bright green and it's going to be assigned to my students. I can make the same choice in the opposite direction. So project local ecosystems, this is bright green, but I can choose to skip by default if I don't want my kids to automatically work on that. So this is where we can personalize our course and decide what is assigned by default and what is not. Now this doesn't only work on projects. You're going to see that I have the same skip by default option for lessons, for quizzes. So you do have all of those options. Now please note that as a teacher, you will see the content that is skipped and assigned. Students, on the other hand, will only see the content that is assigned to them. Because we checked Flex earlier, that allows us to make our course really dynamic. Now look, I have quiz 1, animal behaviors, and on the right hand side, I have my little eyeball icon. If I click on it, that lets me preview the course. Now I want you to see the number of questions we have because of all those lessons that came before it. So on this quiz, we have 33 questions. Let me scroll back up really quickly, not to make you dizzy. I'm going to hit close. So I'm going to show you two really neat things. If I take quiz 1 and I move it up by left clicking and dragging, I can actually place it between the 4 lessons. So now it's between animal behaviors and the study of ecology. And because we have Flex enabled, which make our quizzes dynamic, this quiz is only going to contain questions from these 2 lessons. So just to show you, I am going to click preview. And now we've gone from 33 questions to 22. That is the power of enabling Flex. The second thing I want to show you is that now I no longer have a quiz after these 2 lessons, the study of ecology and organisms and their environment. You're going to notice I have my plus sign here, again, just like I did outside my units, but now this lets me add in individual assignments. So I can add in more lessons or projects. I can even add assessments. So if I want to put another quiz here, if I click on assessment, I can retitle this quiz 2. And I am going to encourage you, if you copy an OdysseyWare course, do not ever build in assessments other than quizzes. If you are not familiar with this, I just want to make sure that this is very clear. Within each OdysseyWare unit, you can only have 1 test. And that's the unit test that comes at the very end of the unit. You cannot build in more than 1 test into an existing OdysseyWare course. So choosing anything besides quiz is going to give you error messages later that you're going to have to fix. So don't ever create anything in an existing course other than quizzes. Now you can choose to skip by default if you want to make this quiz. If you want to make this a quiz that you can choose to assign. I'm going to leave that unchecked. I want this to go into play right away. So I'm going to click create. I'm creating this quiz from scratch, right? Here is the quiz. Because we enabled Flex, now when I click preview, you're going to see that OdysseyWare goes behind the scenes and generates that brand new quiz for me. Again, amazing feature. And it's only going to quiz your students on the 2 lessons that come directly before it. So it's a huge time saver for you because you don't have to create your own assessment unless you want to do that. And by the way, that's another really cool feature that we have. So to review, you can move a quiz by left clicking and dragging it, and you can create a quiz by adding an assessment to the assignment. Now, besides adding in Flex quizzes, another thing you can actually do is make these courses cross-curricular in nature, should you choose to do so. Now I am in my ecology and the environment unit. And maybe I want to bring in some college and career readiness and real-world application. I can actually make this course, again, cross-curricular. Maybe I wanted to bring in a lesson from my careers in architecture and construction course. We can talk about how green jobs are important in the environment. I can do that really easily using my search feature. So if I scroll down, to my human interaction lesson. That would be a good place to bring in that assignment that I was just talking about when it comes to green building and human effects on the environment. So bring in the college and career cross-curricular piece. Now if I click my plus sign, right here, we already saw that I can add in assessments, but this also gives me access to my search button right here. So if I click on it, again, I can search under curriculum. Here are my CTE courses, and I can actually click the arrow to dig down and preview all of the courses that I have access to. I can click further into these courses and see the different units of content in those courses. I can click the arrow again and see all the assignments within those individual units. By clicking on the eyeball icon on the right, this is a great way for you to go in and preview the content that you potentially can use. As you can see, there is a flag next to the eyeball icon for all of these different assignments. When you click on the flag, it will let you flag these assignments for later. So if I click on the flag for these lessons, it will flag these lessons. So let's say your prep hour is almost over and you're looking at OdysseyWare content that maybe you want to use down the road, so you can simply flag those assignments. Now, flagging content is a really great way for you to be able to access it easily later. So I just flagged these lessons. If I want to go back later and review the content, all I have to do is click on the flag option right here, and those are the lessons that I just flagged. And by the way, they are organized alphabetically. So basically, the flag feature lets you save content to go back and look at it later. Now, if I know there is a specific assignment that I want to pull up, I can click on my magnifying glass, and I want to pull up my assignment on green building. I can preview the assignment by clicking on the eyeball icon. This is a really cool cross-curricular piece to build in because it's going to talk about humans' effect on the environment, resilience, and sustainability. So it makes a lot of sense in my biology human interaction course. So if you want to add in this lesson, simply click on it, and again, it goes to a brighter blue, and this is how you know it's selected. You come down here to the bottom and you click Add Selected, and it will go right into your biology course. Now here is the other neat thing that I want you to see. So I added this lesson from a totally different OdysseyWare course. Let me show you again how powerful that flex feature is. So if I come down here to quiz 2 and I click my preview eyeball, and I'm going to scroll slowly, you're going to see on this quiz that I actually have content right from that green building course that I just added in. of course, as well as my biology content. So again, that flex feature, it doesn't only follow modifications you make in that course, it'll also bring content over from other courses that you choose to combine. Just to review, we have discussed scope and sequence, we have deleted content, we have automatically skipped by default certain lessons, and we have made a course cross-curricular. Our next steps are going to be to publish and enroll this course, students in this course, and then we're going to move on to see how you can create a course from scratch using the same principles we've already talked about, but showing you how you can start from a blank slate. Publishing and enrolling is a simple 3-step process. 3 clicks. So you want to scroll to the bottom, and as you can see, there are 3 buttons. So you have an eyeball icon, the check mark, and a publish button. So the first thing you want to do is click the check mark, and that will validate the course for you. In other words, that gives Odysseyware the green light to go behind the scenes and check to see if there are any errors. Now, you're going to know right off the bat if there was an issue, because to the left of these units, you're going to see a big red triangle, and that's going to be your cue to go in and fix something. Now, the nice thing is you're not going to get error messages very often, and it's typically if you try to do things like add in an additional unit test when you can't do that, or simple things like that. But if you ever do get one of those errors, all you have to do is click on the icon, and it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do to fix it. So the directions will be built right into the system so that you can correct the error. So I validated the course. It looks great. No error messages. That was step 1. Step 2, we're going to click publish. You will get a pop-up box asking if you are sure you want to publish this course, and if you are sure, click yes. So this was step 2. Step 3, we are going to make it enrollable. Now, you don't have to do this right away. Maybe you want to keep this behind the scenes, and this is not a course you are going to use until next year, so you don't have to mark it enrollable right now. But if you do have to use this course right away, the third and final step is to click enrollable, and it's ready to go. That's it. My course now is enrollable. And if I wanted to, I can go directly to the gradebook and enroll one of my students in this course. There is no wait time whatsoever. Another cool thing, just to show you that it's ready, if I go to my courses tab, and underneath the course column, I search for my course. There it is. And as you can see, it is published, it is Flex enabled, and it is enrollable. So that is how you can customize by copying a course. The second option is to create a course from scratch. Now, this is really another powerful feature, and this will let you create, if you needed to, individual courses even for an individual student. I am going to click the Create Course button, and I am going to stick with that example I mentioned earlier. Maybe I have a 6th grader and they're really struggling with fractions. I can create a remediation course focused just on that specific skill or concept, just for even one student if I need to. So here I have, it's the same pop-up box. So again, I will really recommend following some kind of a protocol, either creating one or following the district protocol. So this is my district number, and I will add my name and fractions. And again, I can choose to enroll 1 student, 10, or even 100. So under subject, I'm gonna keep it mathematics, just like the OdysseyWare course would be. And then I have the option, same options, whether I want another teacher to edit my course. And then I also have the enable flex option. Now you already saw how dynamic that is, so I am going to click yes. And just as a reminder, it's going to tell you right here, flex must be selected to be enabled for this course. This decision is set in stone and you cannot edit this later. So I am happy with the choices that I made. I am able to edit three of these options later, but not flex. So I clicked yes, and I am going to click create. So again, the same options under course details. I can change the course name, the subject, whether I want other teachers to edit my course. I am unable to change the flex feature. And again, I do have the option of making it CRXable. Now down here under your create your course pane, this is empty. So now I have the option whether I want to search for units and add entire units, or I can build my own units. So building a course is going to work exactly the same way you saw earlier. And just to repeat, we are at the unit level. So I can search, or I can add entire OdysseyWare, entire units of OdysseyWare content. And I can also choose to build my own unit and simply put in individual assignments. So your first choice is, do I want to add full units of content that OdysseyWare has already put together, or do I want to build my own unit and use my own assignments? I'm going to build my own unit, and I'm going to title this unit 1. When I click create, now I have the option. Notice that it's open. I can go in here and I can search and add in my own content. So I am going to click search, and I'm going to search the same way from curriculum, but please note that you can also search by topic or by standards. And again, this is another great use for this particular customization. If you have a kiddo who is struggling on one specific standard, you can actually build a course around one individual standard that your kiddo is really struggling with. And it's going to look the same way to find what you are looking for. You can keep clicking down the arrows to dig down. So again, it's a very powerful tool. Now for me, my students are struggling with fractions. So, okay, so just play along here. I've researched, I've flagged content, and I know what would really help my students. Maybe I have just previewed and found lessons that are going to work really well. So if I come in here and I click the search feature, I can search by keyword. And what OdysseyWare does is that it goes behind the scenes and does an audit for all of the content OdysseyWare offers where that topic is found across all the grades this topic is found. So it's pulling content from existing OdysseyWare courses. So maybe I want to find fraction reviews. So now I have all these different assignments that I can put into that course that I am building. Now, one thing that we did not see, and again, this is my scenario here. I have a 6th grader really struggling with fractions. The really cool thing about this is that if they are struggling in 6th grade with fractions, so think about this, there are probably pieces from 3rd, 4th, 5th grade that they have struggled with surrounding this concept. So you're going to notice over here on the right, I have my filter, advanced filter, that I can actually use as a filter. So when I click on it, I can actually choose which grade level or levels that I want to include, specific subject, and if there is a type of assignment that I want to include. So let's say I want to start with a fraction review starting at the 3rd grade. So I'm going to click on the 3rd grade, and notice behind the scenes it's already refining, and I only want to look at the lessons, no projects. Now what I can do is I can go through here and say, you know what, definitely I need this lesson, this lesson. And every time I click on it, again, it turns to a darker blue. I am happy with my lessons, and then I can come down here and click Add Selected. So I'm starting to build my course from scratch. And again, I can left click and drag to rearrange scope and sequence. Now, because this course in my scenario here is not really going to be for a grade, it's just going to be content that they're taking to help them build their understanding. So maybe I'm not really concerned about tests, but I do want to have a quiz in place at the end of this just to see how they are doing with this review. So because we have Flex enabled, I can click the Flex assessment. I can add my quiz title. I am not going to skip by default, and I'm going to click Create. And now I'm just going to show you so Odysseyware has immediately created a quiz which covered the lessons that preceded it. Now, if I wanted to, I could stop here and just say, for my kiddo who is having a hard time, I'm just going to go ahead and give them a quick review of these topics, and we're going to see how they do. And if I can see, you know, maybe adding fractions is where they're struggling, I can even build another custom course focusing on adding fractions. Or I can make this a more robust individual course. I can add an additional unit. I can call it Unit 2. Again, I can click Search. I can search for but this time I want content from grade 4. Again, I just want lessons. Again, they turn darker blue. When you click on them, you come down here, you add selected. So again, in a matter of minutes, you can build this really easily. It's so simple, but it is so powerful. So again, just to show you, if I wanted to build in a quiz, I can. And if I didn't want to, I wanted to use this as a practice unit, that is also my choice to make. So same steps, I'm going to go ahead and click Validate. And then I can click Publish. I will get the pop-up box again. I am sure I want to publish this course, so I'm going to click Yes. Step 3 is going to be my decision whether I want to make this course enrollable straight away. I do, so I'm going to click on it. So copy a course or creating a course, both work in the exact same way. So I am going to go back to my Courses tab because I want to show you 2 content libraries that you might not know exist, because they're not always easy to find. Now you might want to write this trick down. So underneath courses, I want you to put the percent sign and then next to it add additional. So these are our additional resources. So we have them available in science, math, and English language arts. History will be coming soon, but for right now, we have 3 out of our 4 core areas. So what these are, they're our additional content libraries. So let me show you our science. So for example, as you can see, we have experiments, we have labs, projects built in. Now these are assignments that we have put in place that actually address different standards that maybe the courses don't always cover. Or they're just additional projects that are super cool. They don't want to build them into the course themselves because that could actually make the course take longer than it's supposed to. But it gives you the option to come in here and add in those lessons that are not found in the OdysseyWare content areas. So really cool additional libraries. They start at the 3rd grade and they go through 12 in English, math, and science. So if you're going to customize, I encourage you to come check these libraries out because they will literally get added to even throughout the school year. So definitely write those down. Those are our English language arts additional resources, math additional resources, and science additional resources, extra content libraries. Now again, if you click on courses, we also have another neat thing. So underneath the course column, you can leave the percent sign and add in supplemental. Now please note that these are not courses. They are just our additional resources. So as you can see, they cannot be made enrollable. And you're going to notice that they're not even marked enrollable. So these are not courses to be enrolled in. They're just content libraries that you can use to customize courses. So if I went in when I was customizing a course, and if I searched, let's say English 3, for example, all of this content would actually come up. And I can add them in there. Now, last thing, these supplements are really helpful if you are at a school who says, you know what, we love OdysseyWare, but we don't have the actual books that the course requires. Maybe in English 1, you don't have To Kill a Mockingbird on hand for 35 students. So you can click English 1, for example, and then you can customize an OdysseyWare course. You can swap out To Kill a Mockingbird for Frankenstein, for example, and then you make it fully online. So you can actually come in here and we give you walk documents built in, and it's going to tell you what lessons to swap out and which ones to put in its place if you need a fully online version. Again, just additional content libraries that you can use when customizing to pull in new content. So we have done a lot today in the past hour. Should you have questions moving forward, if you forget something I showed you, or even if you just want to delve deeper into something, or if you want to continue your learning, well, we have the resources that will support you. I want to be sure that you know where to go to for further support. So as you can see at the bottom of the page, and it doesn't really matter which tab you are on, if you click on the help link, there's our technical support and phone numbers and hours of availability. Over on the left hand side, you will have the browse resource button. If you click on it, I promise you it'll be a very helpful resource for you. And if you don't have it bookmarked, I would highly recommend doing that. Now, this will give you access to our knowledge base, which is full of quick start guides, user guides, and video tutorials. Notice it is modeled after the OdysseyWare navigation bar. If you click on the Courses tab, you can find a plethora of information on course customization, user guides, and if you think you are ready, we even have our advanced customization tool, which is our teacher authoring tool. This allows you to build your own content so you can actually build your own lessons, projects, quizzes, and tests. And that is webinar that we will offer in the near future. But any questions after today, definitely come in and check out the videos and the guides that are at your fingertips. So there are lots and lots of resources that you can find in the knowledge base that will help you continue your learning in OdysseyWare. To recap, those are the 4 things that we really did focus on today. The 2 ways courses can be customized, how to copy a course, how to create a course from scratch, and those 2 additional content libraries and additional resources, as well as our online supplements. Hopefully this has been helpful for you and provided you with more insight into the program. Now you know where to go to for more help, the knowledge base. And if you need help and you cannot find it in the knowledge base, please give us a call. We are more than happy to help you out. There are a lot of people here ready to help and support you to be successful in using OdysseyWare. So thank you very, very much for your time here today. Hopefully it's been valuable. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and best of success to you with using OdysseyWare. Please let us know how we can further support you.